Hey guys, welcome to the ASMA What If channel. The voice is probably pretty slow. I'd like to apologize for the low quality of videos on my side. I don't really get very many chances to record, and when I do, it's probably like 12 in the morning. Or in the morning technically. So yeah, you see the struggle's real. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm sorry for the low quality of videos. I have to hold my phone, so yeah, not to mention I don't really have a loud voice. Pretty chill guy. Yeah. So this is gonna be part 2 to What If Deku is the reincarnation of Kronos. Now you're probably wondering, I saw the last part and I do not see how he's the reincarnation of Kronos. He's his son, right? Well, no. Deku is the reincarnation of Kronos' spirit. So he is the reincarnation, but because Deku took on his power, emotions, feelings, and all-around attitude, but he won't see them right away. He'll be like a newborn child until he breaks his earring. If you're wondering what earring, stop looking. Spoiler. That red earring is where his father's soul is. The blue ring is where his mother's soul is. They're trapped in there till they're either broken or absorbed. But the red one is just a power hold for Deku's Kronos power till he's 4, where he'll accidentally Oh, never mind. So I'd like to apologize ahead of time for the sound interference. And let's get into the video. Okay, so after Aizawa and Midnight pick up Deku in the alleyway, they take him to her apartment, where they have the great night. I'm not gonna go into any more detail. They have a great night, and in the morning they're like, "So what are we gonna do with this kid?" As I was like, "I don't know. It was your idea to bring him in, and I was just gonna leave him there. You are a hero, remember." Yeah, I know. But you are too. That's why I brought him in, Aizawa. No, he says. After picking up the kid, he looks into his eyes and sees that they're an emerald green. Maybe jade on the occurrence, but they're mainly emerald. And Aizawa comments on this and says, "Man, his eyes are like gemstones." Midnight smiles and says, "For someone who doesn't like the kid very much, you're pretty, what's the word for it? Do you appeal, no, for someone who doesn't like the kid, who didn't like the kid, you appeal to him quite quick." Aizawa says, "Nah, just thinking how another family's gonna adopt him." "What do you mean adopt him? You are putting him in an orphanage, right?" "No, I'm keeping him," she says. Aizawa says, "Well, that's your choice, but we're not married, so I'm gonna get out of your hair." Midnight grabs him by his collar and says, "Oh, no. You were there. You're the godfather. Unless we find this kid's parents, you're the godfather." So, yeah. Aizawa becomes the godfather after them not finding Izuku's parents, quote unquote. Yeah. After them not finding Izuku's parents, Aizawa became the godfather, and 2 years later, Aizawa married Midnight. And now, Aizawa, Deku, and Midnight all live in an apartment in the center of the city. Deku goes to a fairly small town, not village, I said villages, but Deku still goes to the same school because they didn't want Deku being a spoiled brat. So Deku still goes to the same preschool as Bakugo. They sent him to one of the sticks, that way people wouldn't know. who his parents are. So, at age... Okay. So the quirk doctor thing comes up. Deku's taken in for a quirk examination test, and he's quirkless. At that moment, his heart breaks, and time stops. He's crying and wondering why his parents aren't trying to comfort him. He taps on them and realizes they're frozen, but he can move. He walks over to the doctor and starts to play around with his mustache and his goggles. He then runs over to a chart and says, I didn't expect to see anything like this around here. Deku, then realizing that he's just stopped time, decides to rummage through the doctor's things. He starts messing through them and finds a map and an X on it. He takes the map thinking buried treasure, because he's still a kid, he still has that mentality, but he is as smart as Albert fucking Einstein. He has a very high IQ, just very low attention span. So after finding the map, he puts it in his pocket. Jeez. I'm gonna go to sleep after this, but I'm gonna give you guys at least a 20-minute long video. Oh yeah, in case you didn't know, we are doing a Christmas special. We are uploading the entire week of Christmas. You are probably watching this on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Because that's the day I'm uploading it. Knucklehead I am. Oh, and in case you're wondering what day it is. 3 days till Christmas. You can look at the day. Oh yeah. After grabbing the app, he grabs the scalpel. And by accident, he grabs the blade. Cuts his finger and time rewinds on it. Just by thinking, ow, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Time rewinds on it and he realizes quickly he has the dominion over time. And besides, it probably realizes my mommy and daddy didn't figure out about this. And the doctor already thinks I'm quirkless. I should surprise them when I get home. Yeah, so let's say that in this what if that everybody, if you're quirkless, you're considered someone that's worse than trash. Like, let's say that if All Might came across a quirkless person who was about to hang themselves, he'd say, no, you shouldn't do that. You have so much to live for. And then he said, no, I don't. He would leave it at that. Even All Might's not too keen on quirkless people. Because let's say that it's a 1% of the population. 1%, yeah. So after healing himself and realizing he has dominion over the entirety of time, he sits back in his chair and tries to remember exactly how he was sitting before the time suddenly stopped. As he tries to remember this, he just can't. But then he realizes, wait, I'll just use time rewind on my head. He rewinds his memories and sees that he was sitting, which direction he was sitting and how he was. He sits in that position and unpauses time, figuring it out fairly quickly. He has a good grasp on his capabilities. He thinks so, at least. So, after unpausing time, the doctor says, I'm sorry, my boy, but you're quirkless. There's a second joint in your pinky toe as he taps on the board. And after doing this, Deku rewinds his eyeballs to make him keep crying and crying and crying till they eventually get to the car. Deku stops crying and asks, so are we going home now? Midnight and Aizawa look back and say, yes we are. They start driving and they get around Deku's preschool. They keep driving. And keep driving. And keep driving. Till they get to a bridge. With a small island underneath. Not very big. Let's say the bridge is the Golden Gate Island big. Let's say the bridge is Golden Gates. Yeah, let's say the bridge is about Golden Gates long. I know this isn't real, so let's just say the Golden Gates isn't the biggest bridge. And this bridge is about half as big. That and half more. So they're driving across this bridge and like, ooh, are we going on vacation? They're like, yeah, we are. They stop on the side of the road and they pick up Deku and say, wanna go see the pelicans? They should be flying over the island right about now. They do that and they drop Deku off the bridge. He lands in the water and crawls up on the beach. And starts to cry, and realizing that the parents that have loved him for 3 years of his life just abandoned him, left him for dead. A 3-year-old. He's kept his intelligence a secret for reasons. Deku, realizing this, the mentality of a 3-year-old snaps, and he holds himself like a 20-year-old. If he was in a 20-year-old body, he could pass as a 20-year-old. So what Deku does is, he fast forwards his body to the age of 20. And after that, he pauses time, fast forwards a path of water, and makes it the winter months, and it freezes over. Walks across back to where his preschool is. He stands there, thinking, I need to get some clothes. Stops time, walks into a store, and steals clothes. After stealing the clothes, he puts on them and goes to get a job as let's say he goes to get a job as a personal tutor. He tutors kids for about, he was 3, so he tutors kids for 4 years, making his actual age 7. He tutors kids for 4 years. And after saving up money, he buys himself a house. After buying a house, he lives... What do we want to do? I don't want to make any shromance yet, because it's only episode 2. I can make him like a pimp or some shit like that. Okay, so I have an idea. I'm gonna do this, yeah. After saving enough money, he buys himself a house in the woods. And yeah. He buys himself a house in the woods and lives there. He hunts, having the rights to the property. He never really ate. He just rewinded its time in his stomach to where he wouldn't need food for 4 years. So he's lived for 4 years without buying anything, just tutoring kids. He's made $1 million, let's say $1 million a year, doing this job without eating or sleeping, just tutoring kids. He's tutored kids for 4 years worth, exactly. And after that much time, he has around $4 million. He spends $1 million on the rights to the property and a house in the woods. He hunts so he can eat for once. He hunts deer, having the rights to the property. He hunts deer in the woods, the occasional beaver to sell, And squirrel. Having no visitors, he lives life in solitude and in study. He lives life in solitude and study. He is now 12. And were they 14 or 16 when they went into that? I think it was. I'm gonna say UA's a college. So they go to UA at 18. They go to UA at 18. So he is now 12. He's studied for 5 years, tutored for 4, and was abandoned at 3. After this event, he learned that people are no good. They're just not good people. There's no such thing as a good person. And that everyone's done something wrong in their lifetime. Whether it be rude, cruel, or just flat out murdered somebody. Nobody's good. And the only thing he's ever had of his birth parents, because he's realized that by his physique that he is, in fact, not Midnight and Aizawa's kid. So he's figured out the only thing that he has left from his birth parents are an earring and a ring. And that, for some reason, he thinks it's a quirk or item because it shrinks to fit whatever size he's in. After thinking this, he puts them on and realizes he has the power of all his parents. After putting on the earring, at least, because the earring is Kronos' soul, so he has now the soul of everything Kronos would, including his mother, which is her quirk, getting rid of the downside. So if he does his passion, which he has no passion right yet, if he fulfills his passion, his skills are multiplied. So that's what happens when he wears his mom's ring, and his dad's earring gives him all the powers and all the knowledge. He already has all the powers of Kronos. So yeah, he realizing he now has all the information he could ever need in this earring, he stops studying and begins making a name for himself. He quickly realizes that if there are no good people, there's no reason for me to be good as well. So what he does is he buys a computer from hardware store, then uses that computer to buy a hacked computer online, and then uses that computer to access the black market. Now, this video will be 18 and up, so if you're at this point by now, I would stop listening, and I don't know what time I would stop talking about this shit, but yeah, he buys a computer and uses it to get on the black market. He then buys you know what? Fuck that. I am not getting striked by YouTube because it makes a good story. So yes, what he does is he begins thinking, how can I make money quick? And then he realizes, I can utilize my abilities. Okay, so I'm gonna make it to where Deku's, that Kronos had an extra ability called infinite creation. It was one of his least used skills because Kronos had everything. And he thought to himself, if I couldn't achieve it with my own hands, there's no reason I should have it by any skill or magic ability I can wield. So he never used the skill. But knowing he had that skill, infinite creation, Deku begins creating something unique. He was 12, so for 2 years, he's 14. So for 2 years, he's making something. A system. A leveling, not a leveling, but a skill system. It'll display all his skills, the abilities he has, on his reticle, his vision. So if he thinks to himself, open skill tab, his skills would open up, and he would see pyrokinesis, chronokinesis, telekinesis, hydrokinesis. I already saw this. Yeah, he can pretty much manipulate anything. He saw all of his skills. And any new skill he created or learned. Shit. Any new skill he created and or learned would appear on the skill tab. He spent 2 years making this system. And it also has a system to where he can delete skills. So he can delete them from his memory. But in order to do that, he has to put in a password. Okay, so now where am I? Okay, so he spent 2 years crafting his skill menu using the infinite creation skill. He then makes a skill called copy. He can copy any other skill someone else knows, whether it be in a unique skill, an uncopyable skill. His skill copy can bypass it. And after it took 1 year to make that, so he's 15, and then it took another year to make the skill edit. He can edit any skill he has, as long as it's not something that would defy the laws of nature. And in My Hero Academia, the laws of nature are fucking kahooey. So yeah. After that, he is 16. So 2 more years and he goes to UA. Well, that's where we're gonna get to, by the way. UA. So he thinks to himself for years in for about 6 months in solitude. I have the ability to copy other people's skills. I am becoming one of the most strongest beings out there. How do I protect my strength? And how do I use it to help others? Or to defy others? How can I use it to help others? Because in this, Deku is a kind soul. He gets that from his mother. But you're probably thinking, his mother was a serial killer. What do you mean? Inko's quirk worked like this. The first thing she ever felt exhilarated from would then be imprinted on her soul, and that would activate her quirk. She went hunting with her dad one time and killed a deer. The adrenaline was pumping, and that was the only thing that would ever make her feel an emotion. Her ability substitutes power for emotions. So no emotions, power. Emotions, power, no power. See what I'm getting at? She wasn't a serial killer because she wanted to be. She was a serial killer because it was the only thing that would ever give her emotion or feeling. So otherwise she'd be a caring person. So yeah. Deku is a pretty caring person. He wants to help people. So he begins using his copy quirk to walk around town as a... Let me go find it. I don't really care if you guys see this. There's no real spoilers. It's just a bunch of shit I like on Pinterest. Ooh, this works. I think I might be able to find something here. Guess not. Fuck. You know what? I'm gonna pause recording. Say he went out looking like this. This isn't his actual look. He used one of his skills to he used his create skill to make a transform skill. So now he can transform his body to look different. But this is only when he doesn't want to be noticed. He does this and walks around and uses it to copy everybody's quirk he sees. The copy quirk works like this. If he can see them, sense them, hear them, smell them, if he can use any of his senses to locate them, he can copy their quirk, and they won't be able to notice you. So Deku walks around copying everybody's quirk. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. The coffee shop lady, the girl that works at your bank, fucking Bakugo, his wing guy. So yeah, Deku pretty much has a shit ton of random quirks. So he thinks to himself, oh god, my skill system's gonna be dead after this. And then he sees a notification. New skill, rare, unlocked. New rare skill unlocked. Black heart. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot I made that skill. I forgot I made that into the status window. What happens is, if there are commons, uncommons, rares, elites, and legendary quirks. Obviously, Hellfire, the Endeavor's quirk, is going to be an elite quirk. And rare quirks are stuff like gravity manipulation and harden. That's a rare quirk. And a legendary quirk is fucking half and half. And all for one and one for all. Shit like that. So, yeah. He sees rare skill unlocked. He clicks on it and sees the rare skill, regeneration. Not regeneration, he can heal himself. I'm trying to give him something he doesn't already have. Here, let's say that all Kronos' abilities he doesn't have, but he does have infinite creation, because he made a life for himself. So, he gained the skill Pyrokinesis, which is fire manipulation. After gaining that skill, he unlocked the elite skill, Master Pyromancer. This was one of Kronos' skills. That was one of Kronos' skills, Master Pyromancer. So now Deku has the unlocked skill, the elite skill, Master Pyromancer, because some guy had a fire quirk. All the other skills he unlocked were common quirks, like Regeneration 1, Strength buff, Finger growth, stuff like that. So yeah, after doing that, he is 18. And he thinks to himself, I haven't done much with my life so far. If I'm gonna live one, I might as well live it to the fullest. So yeah. Actually, I think I might want to save that picture. So he applies. He's walking by and he sees an alleyway. He sees a girl getting mugged, and he thinks to himself, "It's none of my business." And then he stops for a second, says, and then turns back around, sees her, but she's about to get stabbed, but the guy's not moving. And he thinks to himself, "It's a good thing I activated my skill as soon as I saw it." He walks over, gives the knife to the girl, and then reactivates time for her and says, "I'm not gonna help you, but here's a knife." She uses her eyes to look around and sees she has the knife now, and he's just gonna punch her in the stomach. She gets punched in the stomach, and then she stabs him in the neck. She thanks Deku and says, "Thank you, I guess." No problem, and he walks away. Being a hero, but not getting his hands dirty. So he cannot technically be connected to the crime. Yeah. After that, he walks and sees a poster for UA as he exits the alley. He grabs it and says, "That might be a good idea." as he heads back to his house. Of course, he's going to the today, thinking there's not much better I can do with my life. But yeah, that is going to be episode 2 of What If Deku was reincarnated as Kronos. You're probably going to see this at 3 a.m.? Not 3 a.m., fucking 3 p.m. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I don't usually do this, but like and subscribe, guys. If you hit the like button, it turns blue. Yeah. Well, none of you fuckers can say I clickbait, because all my shit's the real deal. Well, I honestly hope my recording wasn't bad. Well, peace out, y'all. Y'all my demons. By the way, I'm gonna probably start calling you that, because if you didn't know, my tag in Discord is the dual-wielding demon. And yeah. I'm just sitting here for a second, right now I'm watching Netflix. Have you guys seen Just How High 2? It's a great movie. Well, I should probably stop talking all that bullshit, and finish off the what if. Well, not what if. Ooh, yeah. And if you guys want, I was thinking about doing a what if Deku had a unique symbiote what if. So if you guys want that, put a comment down below. And yeah, peace out and goodbye.